Archeworld Day 1, and let's talk about the endgame and what it is all about. So you can see it's massive raids, open world PvP raids. Anytime a zone goes to war, you have these rifts that appear in the map. I believe there's 3 rifts in each map in different locations. And then if you clear all 3 rifts, your raid doesn't have to clear them all themselves. So like, there could be 3 different raids, for example, and each raid is clearing one of the rifts. And then at that point, then a boss raid rift appears at the end at a certain period of time. I think it's like 30 minutes left or 15 minutes left in the war zone. But yeah, so this is the end game activities right now. And this is, again, you know, less than 24 hours. This is about 16 hours now into the server here. So, you know, pretty impressive. Already got a 50-man raid going. Most people are very weak. You can see we're only level 34. Level 41s over here, level 40s, and 35s. But the nice thing is, so my level doesn't matter too much because I'm a healer. I'm not a very good healer, but I'm a healer. Watch, the whole raid just dies in this video. So the entire goal is to end up clearing out all of the mobs, the grunt mobs, and to get to the actual boss. And to kill the boss. Right now, most players only have about 5 skills too on their main skill tree, because you only get the 4 basic skills. So you get the 4 basic skills for free, and then you have to find the other skills from monsters or buy off other players who've got them and then are selling them on the auction house. So you farm monsters and you get the skill books, or you craft the skill books as well. So the higher tier skill books are going to take some time to be crafted, because we need logs, lumber, stone, fabric, and some other materials to actually craft, so we can start making the skill books. And so right now everyone is literally just using, you know, basic skills. And then as more people do get geared up and get to higher levels, these will all be contested battles. Because the main resource in the game is Archeon. It's what you use to upgrade your gear and get stronger. And it comes mainly from these guys, from these rifts. So these faint treasure chest of void is very, very valuable stuff. So like, us being able to free farm this is just like a huge blessing. Like, if you can, you want to be farming these rifts ASAP, and you want to farm them uncontested, because, you know, when more people start farming and people are more strategic about it, they're going to just go and just, you know, rush the raids. And if the other raid is stronger than you, they will end up killing you in PvP and make, you know, pretty much forcing your raid to disband, because people quit after, you know, a couple deaths. And then they'll get all the loot. But yeah, surprisingly, I mean, for how low level and how weak the player base is, I mean, literally, like, what, 16 hours I think it is, you see a bunch of invalidity out there. That means our combat level is too low, and that we need, you know, to gear up more and to level up more. And so you see that a lot. But I mean, surprisingly, these are level 46, what, elite mobs? And they're going down pretty well. Like, people are doing a decent amount of damage. This is a pretty solid raid group. And this is a pug raid group too. This is just, you know, people forming together, which I did not anticipate this actually. So how I thought Archeworld was actually going to go was it was going to be purely guild versus guild, and then the pugs would have like no chance at all. But what we're seeing here on day one is that pugs are actually a thing that are doing well. You know, like pugs are happening, pickup groups. So we'll see if this continues and if the actual server gets dominated by like one guild or so. But it is quite difficult for one guild to dominate the entire server, because I can show you. There's, I think it's like 9 zones, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 zones, and they all cycle through, you know, peace and into war. And so right now there's actually 2 zones going on with war, and that means there's 6 rifts going on right now. So for one guild to dominate everything, it's almost impossible because they can't cover 6 rifts at one time. They could end up taking like the main bosses. So if a guild was, you know, trying to dominate, they could end up taking the super boss at the end. And you know, that might happen. Yeah, this is definitely and I don't know if it's an Asian thing too, but there has been a lot less ganking than I would have thought of Archeage. So this is Archeworld, and you can see the bosses, a lot of invalidities, like people can't really hurt the boss. But yeah, so the Asian server here, it's a global server that anyone can play on, but it's out of Singapore, and so it's designed for the Asia, Chinese, Singapore's, Korean, all the people over there. So that's who their target audience is for this version right now. And they have said that the North America one was coming. It's got delayed a little bit. It's coming now. Q1 2023 is the target date for North America region, South America region, so the Americas. But over here, so the leveling process, people didn't, you know, gank any red that they saw. It was like people were running past each other, going, just like doing their own thing. People were in bloodlust mode, not fighting each other, just doing quests, just trying to level up, just trying to progress. Like, they really didn't care that they were in bloodlust mode or not, for the most part. Like, on the American servers, on the United States servers, woo! If people see red, it's just gank after gank after gank after gank, like death after death, like conflict after conflict. It's so crazy. The American player base is so, like, I guess, blood hungry. Like, they want to kill people. Like, yeah. Over here, it definitely seems way more respectful and just, like, chill. There were a couple times, and, you know, you do have some gankers here and there. But I'd say probably, like, you know, 95% of the server was just chill, kind of do whatever you want, continue questing, and progress. There were a few times, you know, you got ganked here and there. Myself got ganked. And I've saw others get ganked. And, you know, I even did some ganking myself, actually, because, you know, I was forming raids. And I was like, okay, everyone raid up. And people weren't raiding up. And so then it was like, we have 10 people, and there's these, like, 2 people who aren't raiding up, like, still doing quest missions and stuff. So I'm like, I'm going to attack you. Like, you're red. Might as well. You're in bloodlust mode, so what? And you don't want to join our raid. We're trying to help you. So I ended up attacking them. I killed them. Like, so it's a different environment here for sure. The lag isn't that bad. We're not using a VPN or anything like that. So boss is dead. Boss dropped. Everyone gets this Fate Spectre's treasure chest, and so it costs a ton of labor. 70 labor is a lot. That's one of the big changes from the alpha, is that labor is consumed a lot more in the live version. So the coin purses take a lot more. The infusions, I believe, take a little bit more than what they did. It's like 1 or 2, but even 1 or 2 to like open as well. And then this treasure box, I don't remember getting a treasure box in the alpha from the bosses, and I don't remember, like, I remember getting a treasure box, but it was like kind of RNG, I thought. And then it also didn't cost 70 labor. Like, I'm sure there was nothing that cost 70 labor to open. And so here's the Faint Treasure Chest of Void. Like, again, there's another one. This one costs 80 labor points to open, and I don't believe they were 80 labor points, excuse me, to open during the alpha. Like, these are the ones that are dropped by the mobs. So these are the ones that everyone rolls on, that you get a bunch of these, and this is where you get a lot of Archeum out of it. It's a incomplete Archeum, and you have to go process it, but still, like, I think they definitely upped the labor usage in the live version, like, significantly. Oh, see, there's some PvP. Oh, yep, see, it looks like there's another raid here now. Or maybe not. There's at least another person. Oops, that might have been bad. Run! Thankfully I got some heals. Still getting used to playing healer. This is the first time I'm playing a healer in Archeage, Archeworld, in this game. So heals are definitely different, and it takes a while to get used to the healing stuff. And again, we are very, very gimped skill-wise. Oh yeah, it looks like there's another raid here, or at least a group. Aye. Yep, looks like another raid. So now you get to see some PvP action. Although maybe I shouldn't try to actually PvP, I'll just sit in the back and heal like I'm supposed to as a healer. So that's one of the interesting things is with no factions, everyone spawns at the same statue, and then once you run out, like you get out of the protection era of the Nui, there could be a lot of just like ganking at the statues. Like as people are running out, it's just like I can foresee a lot of ganking there. And this is one of the reasons like you played this game. If you're playing this game, you're here for the PvP and the conflict. You're also here obviously to try and make money off the NFTs and the cryptocurrency. But if you like the game, and that's the reason a lot of people were disappointed with Archeage, is that it was supposed to be a PvP game, and it really kind of turned into more of like a Care Bear PvE game. Whereas this version seems to be going back to that roots of open world PvP content. And I'll be the first to admit, I suck at PvP. Like, that's part of the reason why I'm playing a healer, because I suck at PvP. So... So your mount dying is actually really bad too, because it's like a 15-minute death. And it feels really bad when you don't have a mount. So we're going to despawn the mount. When the character dies, you lose a little bit of durability on your gear, which can be bad. So you always need to save like 100 or 200 Archeum to repair your gear, because you use Archeum to repair your gear. So you always got to have Archeum available, otherwise you're going to have to buy gear. And so that's a different thing too. In the alpha, I don't believe the gear was sellable, but in this version you can sell the gear. So what I foresee happening is a lot of characters that are just alts being re-rolled to try and get specific gear stats, and then if they don't get the stats that they want, they'll end up selling the gear. on the auction house, and then they'll also sell the art game. So like you're gonna run an alt, and you're gonna run an alt all the way up to about level 30, 34, 35, because that's what my level currently is to get through all the blue salt quests, all the main storyline quests. And that at that point you'll have you know, about 15,000 arcane, and you can make a weapon into tier 4 artisans. And so if you don't like the stats, then you end up selling it and re-rolling and trying a new character. Because once you get really good at it, I think, yeah, so once you get good at it, and once that you have a character to help twink, I guess it is the right word, which carry your main character. So like once you have a main character, you need to keep him with a decent amount of gear, and then you can progress new accounts all the way through the story quest. And you could probably do that in about 5 to 6 hours once you get it down, you know, perfectly. Maybe a little bit quicker actually too if you are really, really good at it, and because it takes about 2 hours to get to level 30 for the green storyline quest. And then going from level 30 to level like 35, all it is really just running, and there's a couple of mobs you have to kill, but the most part of it is just running. And then your main character has the teleports already, so you can teleport to different locations rather quickly. That's crazy. So we've been doing the PvP, and like I didn't even know the raid was over here, like the Rift raid. Like I had no idea where the monsters were coming from. The raid was like over there. So it looks like we have dominated that PvP exchange, and it looks like that raid has either given up or disbanded. We'll see if they come back. I mean, so it makes sense that they wouldn't just disband, but it makes sense they would just go somewhere else because there's multiple different locations. It's not like they have to fight over this, and especially so if you are a weaker raid, just simply move to a different location. That won't be possible on the Mega Boss because there's only going to be one Mega Boss in the zone. But there might also be something special too. If all the zones go to war at the same time, I think there might be a special trigger event that happens, like a super boss. They said something like that in the AMA, but I'm not sure if that was like mistranslation or something like that. I mean, that would be pretty cool if there actually was something to, because so how the zones go to war, it's you push it yourself. So all the mob kills in the zone will slowly build up a counter and push it from like stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, and then it goes all the way into the conflict zone, and then it goes to war for I think it's 1 hour and 15 minutes or 1 hour and 30 minutes. And then after that, the whole cycle repeats. So it's all based on the monster kills that happen in the zone. So you can, in theory, push the zones to war and correspond and you know, coordinate all the zones going to war together. If you see a couple zones that are lagging behind, just get a group of people, head over there. Yeah, so we're gonna end up doing the 3rd raid, and then we're gonna go for the boss. So unfortunately, like, from what it looked like in the alpha, the bosses really didn't look like anything special or crazy. I would have liked to see different monster skins. And same thing like these Rift mobs. They all looked fairly generic. They all looked fairly the same depending on kind of where you are. They do change a little bit depending on like kind of which zones and who you're fighting. But you can see, I mean, by the time we're done with this one, Sandeep will probably be very close to actually going into war. And then over here we have Rookborn Basin almost in war as well. So either Sandeep or Rookborn is going to be in war. So like you can literally non-stop raid versus raid or raid versus PvE content like all day long in Archeworld. I mean, you're going to get a lot of loot and stuff. You won't be able to open it if you're just doing this and you're not able to get a house and to get a bed, to get labor. You can probably sell it because you can almost sell everything on the auction house. Let's see if you can sell this chest. Nope. So you might be able to sell the contents once you open it. But that requires a labor, the 70 labor, the 80 labor. And so as a free-to-play player, you can, like, once you get into these raids, like, you don't have to be that strong, especially as a healer. You just sit back and cast, you know, the AoE heal spells. Like, I'm a paid player, but I'm still playing a healer. And I'm definitely helping the group with my, you know, 2-button skill, my 1 and my 3 key. I'm sure I could probably be doing more once I get more skills and abilities. But, you know, this is all I got right now, so. And I think one of the nice things about this game is there actually will be a lot of healers because of that reason. That, like, healers is the best class for free-to-play or support. So like a Songcraft main is also really good as a support, as someone who is a free-to-play player. Because, I mean, your heals aren't going to miss the allies. Your support spells, your buffs aren't going to miss the allies. So it doesn't matter if you're a weak combat level. You're not attacking enemies, you're supporting and giving buffs and heals. But, I mean, we are actually, so we're one of the top people. We're 11,400. I'm sure we're in the top 100 on the gear score. I would imagine. We'll take a look at it in a second. Let's go to rankings. Maybe I shouldn't say I'm sure of it. Ah, so close. 11.5. So we're 11.4. And pretty much, I mean, this is the amount of gear score that you get from doing all of the green storyline quests, and then using all of your Archeum, and then also getting a little bit of Archeum from the Arc Pass. So, I mean, the combat power gear score looks crazy from other people that played Archeage. You're like, whoa, you're already 11,000 or 12,000 after, you know, less than a day. But it's not. It's not the same gear score. And that's what people need to understand. Like, even though it says you're 12,000, like, you're not going to be one-shotting, you know, 7,000 gear score players. There's not that much of a difference between 11,000 and then like a 7,000. And then also going up to, like, the highest gear score is what, like 12,000 something? Take a look in a second again. Yeah, so the highest gear score is 12,190. Like, and that's the guy who spent the most money right now. You know, honestly, that's how you get there, is you know, paying to win. And his gear score is just up a few points from everyone else. Like, we actually probably could, yeah, we have 3,400. We probably could actually increase our gear score. We just actually need a little bit more of the infusions, which now we probably have after this raid. But yeah, don't expect as a free-to-play player to be in the top 100 gear score though. Even though you can get here and it's not impossible, eventually the paying players will push way ahead. So the Archeum supply after the green storyline quest comes mainly from houses. And houses you have to pay money to actually have. The more money you pay, the more houses that you can have, which means the more Archeum that you can craft and create each day. So the paid players will actually get ahead. And this is why in the beginning it's so critical. For free-to-play players, your entire goal is to get enough blue salt, and you need to farm the green storyline quest, make characters, get there, get the 10,000 Archeum, and then craft it into a sellable item. Sell it on the auction house. Not use it. Like, your first character, you should use it, you should build your character up. Then your second character, you should actually farm the green storyline quest until you get enough blue salt tokens from selling the Archeum. Make character after, make new character, make a new character, make a new character, make a new character, over and over and again until you get at least like 1,400 blue salt, and then put that all on your main account, and then now you are set. You'll be able to generate a bunch of labor, a bunch of Archeum. It will take, I'd say to do it perfectly, it will take you 1 week to get a whole account set up. You'll probably do 4 or 5 alts, my guess. You won't actually use the alts afterwards. There's no real reason to use them until they increase the green storyline quests. Oh, we died. Damn, that was a big amount of damage. But yeah, get yourself set up. So take a week, take the first week here, get yourself set up, and then after that you're essentially a paying player. And the cool thing is too, is once you buy your Arc Pass, your blue salt is not going away. Every time that you do your Arc Pass and you complete it, you get all of your blue salt back. So you spend 1,000 blue salt here, and then after you complete it, you get 1,000 blue salt back. So you get all of your blue salt back. It's not gone, it's essentially staked, which means kind of like on loan. The same thing applies to the houses. So when you buy a tent that costs 300 blue salt, you also get that back too. So when you want to upgrade to a bigger house, or if you want to quit the game, you can go ahead and get your 300 blue salt back by taking that tent to the community center. And there's an NPC there that will buy your tent for 300 blue salt. So realistically, investing the 1,300 blue salt that you earn into the game is, not terrible. You're always going to have that to fall back on when you leave. The price will definitely be different. Like right now, the price is 18, 19 cents per blue salt. I don't think that could hold. I think that's going to go down. Like, I'm surprised that it's still holding at 18, 19 cents. I've seen it as low as like 13 in the last 12 hours or so. So it does fluctuate a lot. Oh no, that's gonna kill me. Oh, we lived. Yeah, so I can't DPS the boss anymore because I have the rebirth trauma. So we can't actually hurt these bosses anymore. But again, it's fine because we're a healer, we're just gonna support, we're gonna heal. So the nice thing with the durability loss though is it's a 1% hit, which means in theory you should be able to die 100 times before you actually have to repair your gear. So just don't die 100 times, and then you never have to repair your gear. Like, that should be the thought process behind it. But dying happens often, as you know if you've played Archeage at all. You can die to mobs, you can die to things, you can die to stupidity, you can die to fall damage. But yeah. Oh, there's enemies over there. Enemy players. I do miss the combat pets. So I think combat pets are eventually going to come into the game, but they were easily exploitable. Like, you can set your combat pet to like auto attack and then just AFK, and your combat pet would just kill mobs endlessly. So they've taken out like all the things that you can exploit, really. The only thing that could essentially be considered an exploit is making the alts and, you know, using all those resources once again. But as a free-to-play player, you have nothing to lose on that. So, like, even if that is considered an exploit and they're like, don't do it, you know, and you might get banned for it. Like, you're a free-to-play player anyway, so all you lost was your time. That's literally all that you lost. And this is what I try to tell people, is like, why did you want to hate on this game so much that you don't even want to try it? The game is 100% free-to-play. You can earn actual money in it. And it's a game that you've played, you know, for the last 10 years roughly, the same combat style. So if you like the Archeage combat at all, you should have tried this game, and you still can try this game. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me in my brain. It's like the pure hatred that people have for this game because it's crypto based, NFT based. People ask all the time for a rework of Archeage, and they're like, oh, Archeage needs to change this, Archeage needs to change that. I'm like, I want Archeage to look like this. Well, that's what they're doing. They're changing Archeage. They reworked the entire game, and they're starting from scratch. They're keeping the combat because the combat is pretty cool and pretty good. They kept, you know, the skills for the most part, and they're starting over. And I always tell people, it's like, this game will have updates really fast because all the assets are already made. Like, they have a ton of assets already made that they're using in Archeage, that all they have to do is adjust the values, the stats, the drops, and how they're, you know, implemented in game. And then you have a bunch of new content. With the game having only the South unlocked at the launch, there's a lot of stuff just to like look forward to. If they had everything unlocked at the beginning of the game, it would be like overwhelming for new players for sure. And no one would be doing these rifts. Like, if Aurora was open and then like other areas, the garden was open, like no one would be down here fighting over rifts because they'd be like, oh, this is garbage, this is content that is outdated. This essentially brings it back to like Halcyon. So Archeage 1.0 version where you had Halcyon and people endlessly farmed for their gear. I mean, essentially this is kind of the same thing. They are forcing you to really have a house though. So that's why, like, you have to get a land. You have to get a small land. And I really recommend, if you are going to play this game at all serious, or you know, like the game, to buy the land. Because if you rent it for longer than, like, say 3 months, you should have just bought the land at that point. Like, the price that you paid, which it looks like for a small land, is 300 every 4 weeks. That looks to be the price. So the price that you paid after 3 months, it's going to be 900 BSLT. 900 BSLT is currently going to be worth about 180 bucks. The current price of the small land is about $300. So that it's almost the same price. It's about half. But the small land will give you extra benefits. The small land is going to give you free BSLT every month. The small land is also going to give you a dividend from other people that are renting. So the people that are renting the XL Games land, like, you're going to get some of that. So you're probably going to get 100 to 200 BSLT every single month. Well, you actually are. You're guaranteed to get 100 BSLT every month for the first 6 months for having a small land. And then you're going to get the dividend money. So whether that be, you know, 10 or 20 or 50 or maybe 100, who knows? Like, you're going to get at least 100. So you're going to get 100, let's say 150 BSLT every month. So that brings it up to 450. So you're at 1350 BSLT, essentially spent and earned. If you look at how much you rented and how much you could have earned. And so 1300, that's about 250. So yeah, so it's almost the exact price. And they also said that the NFT holders are going to get more value. Like, they want to award NFT holders more value. Like, XL Games is focused on making NFTs valuable. They're focused on making the fandom cards valuable. They're focused on making the land valuable. Ooh, we can actually use our AoE here. The crows! That's another reason I went healer too, because, like, so in this version, you're actually pretty much designed to farm mobs that are lower level than you, because you want to always farm mobs that have lower combat power. And generally your combat power is going to be lower than your level. So, like, for right now, we're at level 34, so I would recommend people to go farm, like, level 25 mobs. And at that point, you can just go round them up and then do AoE farmings. And so the healer class actually has a cool AoE setup. It's got the crows and the Hell Spear, and then it also has, I think, Skewer, it used to be called, Judgment Spear now. Like, it's crazy that they changed the names on these things. Oh, much appreciated. Anyway, that's still watching and listening to me in this raid video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. I'm sure by now you've hit that like button because you're still here after like an hour of me talking to you. So much appreciated. Thank you very much. And yeah, hope to see you in game. So myself personally, we'll just keep rambling on here about Archeworld. Like, I got a lot of fandom cards because I'm not gonna be playing long term in this server. If the game goes well in this next week, if like the population just doesn't drop off like a rock, which some people think it will, it's a possibility, you never know. So if the population holds steady for the next couple days, like, the server is pretty much full right now. There's been a little bit of queues here and there, which means about 5,000 players online concurrently. Or maybe the starting zones were just jammed. So it's either starting zones were jammed or there's 5,000 concurrent on. So that's the server capacity. So if that holds, if we start getting queues at all, then I'm definitely gonna actually invest in land on this server. Like, right now I'm thinking about potentially renting for 1 month to see how things shake out. And then if, like I said, if the population holds or grows in the next couple of days, I probably will go ahead and actually buy land. But why I bought fandom is because fandom cards are going to give you access to land on the North America server. They're going to give you access and first shot at the purchasing of land. They're also going to give you free land for holding 3. Looks like we might have to end the recording. We might be running out of disk space. So yeah, they're going to give you 3. For every 3 fandom you have, there is a free medium land that's given out. So if that stays the same for North America, which I think it is, that's a huge benefit. Like, a free land. Like, right now the fandom cards are about 900 each. So you buy 3 of them, that's 2,700 klay. So they use a different cryptocurrency. And then the medium houses are about 1,800 right now. So if you get a medium house out of 3 fandom, that means your fandom cost actually really only costs you like 900. for those fandom cards. Because you got an item that was worth 1800. Like right now, the small land is actually going up in value because people are enjoying Archeworld right now. They are seeing the value in land. And the small lands they started at like 1,000, and now they're up to about 1,100 with like one left, and then the next one's like 1,200, and the next one's like 1,300. Like the land prices could get up to about 1,500 pretty quickly. But anyway, we'll cut this this off because I think the disk space was running out, so I don't know if you're hearing me anymore. But yeah, thanks for watching. As always, we'll have more content and updates in the future. Keep it locked here. Subscribe to the channel. Hit those like buttons. Share the videos. Tell your friends. You know, give Archeworld a try. I cannot stress that enough. Like, you have nothing to lose trying out Archeworld. 100% free to play. Free to play. Try it. See if you like it. If you don't like it, then then talk shit. If you don't like it after you play it for a day or two, then talk shit and be like, it sucked, it's garbage. I mean, totally can. Like, there are some systems that are completely different, and they definitely will feel awkward. Like, the invalidity system is just weird. Ooh, we can do crows. I get so excited to do crows. Anyway, guys, I will talk to you guys later, and let my raid probably die here because I'm not doing a good job healing. Thanks for watching. As always, hit that like button again. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.